Reading and writing literacy programs help improve reading proficiency skills and decrease the illiteracy achievement gap of youth, especially young Black boys.
Illiteracy in America, the world's most powerful country, is, contrary to many assumptions, a major problem. Illiteracy is particularly prevalent in minority communities, more so among black boys.
A student is in fourth grade and is reading at a high second grade level or maybe even lower.
That's Devonte Augustus, a fourth grade language arts teacher whose lived experience is not an isolated case. In fact, according to an analysis by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, in 2018, only 18% of black American fourth graders were proficient in reading. In eighth grade, only 16% of black American students were proficient. In order to solve these literacy setbacks, many have suggested expanding school choice, which, according to its advocates, would give less fortunate parents more options, not relegating them mainly to the perceived failed public school system. Mr. Augustus has a more nuanced approach.
Some people just are not in a place, an area where they're fortunate enough to have those options. But I do think that there are a lot of great educators who work in the public school system who are able to teach students and able to see them grow.
Joining us is Mr. Patrick Oliver with Say It Loud, Readers and Writers. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing just fine, brother. Thanks for having me on and being a part of this very powerful news show. Really enjoyed the first two segments.
Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate that. And we want to thank you for taking the time out to come on and discuss this very, very important and heavy topic that comes with literacy programs, because it's definitely something that we need to address in our community. So jumping right on into it, national reading scores track Black and Hispanic male students at the bottom for reading proficiency. 86% of African American boys and 82% of Hispanic boys. So, what factors have led to these poor literacy outcomes among Blacks and Hispanics?
Lack of attention. Bottom line, when you send your children to schools, we taught somebody about somebody that doesn't look like them. What do we expect to happen? And that's what is happening. People that does not look like our children are teaching our children, and they are not giving them the best product necessary for them to become proficient. As a matter of fact, our children are born at genius level. We know this. We know this from just uh, scientific research. We just know this from just being around our children. So when we send them to school for others to teach them, they're not going to teach our children or nurture their natural genius. They're going to give them just enough so they can possibly pass some standardized tests, so they can, receive their federal dollars, whatever the case may be. But that's the first problem. And the other problem is they don't really understand, again, what nurtures Black children, Black boys' interests.
Mhm.
Boys have to see themselves in books. You're going to read books if you see your image of yourself in a book. You see names that sound like you in a book. You see neighborhoods like yours. You see images of your grandmother, grandfather in books. You're going to be interested. I'm not going to read a book that has Debbie and little and Harry and Chip names like that in books. It doesn't sound like a boy and girl in my neighborhood. But if I get Tariq, Malik, Kareem, those names in books, then I'm attracted to them because those names are familiar. So culturally relevant books has to be in front of our children on a consistent and daily basis. Not just at school, brother, but also in our homes. We're part of responsibility too, because when our children come home to us and they speak to us or they read something to us, we should know right away what grade level they're at.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, sir. And with what you were representation and what you were hitting on right there is very, very important. That representation is important because I remember I would do tutoring, and whenever I would do tutoring, and anytime I was tutoring a child that came in with a reading assignment, they never could understand it just from reading the passage that they had right in front of them. But if I broke it down and I gave them an example in a way that they could relate to, then they understood. And most of the time, they were able to answer the questions correctly and get high scores. So that representation uh, portion that you hit on is very very important. And so that, that kind of leads me to my next question is about, what are some of the perceptions that educators and parents have about reading, learning, and motivation that may need to change as well? And how do we equip parents with tools that they need to mature the children's development and ensure that they arrive at kindergarten ready to succeed?
Hip again, cool again. We have to connect young people reading with success. We see images just all over our television screens, cell phone screens, Netflix, you name it. We're consuming too much television for one. And typically, the success that we see uh, from Black folk that's on those shows are entertainers, athletes, that sort of thing. We have to show young people that uh, success are journalists like yourself. A success is a lawyer, success entrepreneurs. So we have to change the whole narrative. What does reading do? It is cool to be smart. It is cool to be intellectual. We come from a history of genius, thinkers, innovators. That's our history. That's our culture. So we have to remind our parents that every child is not going to, and this cliche is, make it to the NBA, NFL. Parents will sign their children up for the community football team, basketball team. Brother, I didn't realize the registration fees were that expensive to play on a youth football team. They had to buy sneakers. I'm sorry, the cleats, the shoulder pads, the helmet. We talking and the registration fee, brother. We talking about $300. How many parents at one time spend $300 on books? So we have to really look at those sort of things. And again, it's about self responsibility, and self responsibility is about self preservation. We have to clearly understand reading. We're talking about saving our children's lives. The second prior to us, we're talking about financial literacy, but you're not going to understand financial literacy if you don't know what the word net gains mean. You don't know what the word production mean. These kind of words are extremely important, particularly as we move into the future. Everything is going to be digital. Everything is not going to be. It already is. COVID-19 shit the whole game in terms of entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And that is those are important words. Excuse me. Those are very important words that you are speaking in. Self accountability. We definitely need more self accountability when it comes to the education of our babies as well, and being able to guide them, because we know the school system isn't going to guide them the right way. And so we got to be able to, at home and as a community, make sure that we are guiding our babies towards the right direction, because they can get a little bit, they can have fun at the same time, but also at the same time, we need to make sure that they have an outstanding literacy rate as well. And so, according to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, data reading proficiency of Black youth triggers alarms. Why are the youth who fail to hit proficiency mark by the end of third grade said to be 4 times more likely to drop out of high school? Why is it critical to end proficiency for proficiently by the end of the third grade?
We see the interest drop. The kid, if he's frustrated in the classroom, if he can't participate in the classroom and he doesn't do well on tests, because you think about it, fourth grade, he or she is 2 grade levels away from being 2 grades away from being in middle school. So he should be prepared. Really, we should be preparing our kids when they graduate from elementary school. They're ready for the ninth grade. They're ready for high school. That should be our target as adults in the community. So we have to really focus on that. So it's extremely important, again, that we remember that our children are prepared for whatever we put on them, but it comes from home. People, library cards are free. All the books you could ever want are at your local library. I encourage my parents, go to the library, ask the librarian, you want every book that's on the Coretta Scott King reading list. Those books reflect the images of our children, of our community, and Coretta Scott King developed that reading list, developed that prize. Um, so Black parents, could take their children to the library and check out books that are readily available for them, already reviewed by Black educators and librarians. So we're ready to go. We are ready to go. Our children are ready to go. So it's on us now to take our community to the next level. Again, we're innate intellectuals. We built societies. So hey, let's get back to nurturing our children so they can become the next builders and developers.
That's right. That's right, brother. And we definitely appreciate you for taking the time out to come on today and really give us some very, very important information on what it is our baby's literacy rates. And so, we definitely need to bring you back on so that we have more time to be able to go a little bit deeper as well into, the statistics and how we can even inspire our children to even be able to want to start reading again, because like you said, they have been consumed with the electronics that we have and the entertainment that we have as well. So we need to definitely bring you back on, my brother, so that we can go a little bit deeper into this. But once again, I thank you and I appreciate you for coming on tonight. And yes, sir, you just have a great night.
We appreciate you. They can check me out at speakloudly.com, www.speakloudly.com. We'd love to come back and join you. Great show, brother. Fantastic show.
Thank
Peace.
you, brother. Peace. All right. So thank you for joining us today and turning into NNV News. Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, National Network View. This is Tariq X with National Network View News.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.